I am back with another Pokemon challenge run, this time in Pokemon Platinum, and I only use Pokemon I received as a gift. This includes the starter Pokemon Turtwig, Chimchar or Prinplup, a Togepi in Eterna City, an Eevee in Hearthome City, Riolu from the Iron Islands, and some more. The team already looks amazing, but let's see how the trainers of Sinnoh fight against me. Here are the rules. It takes a bit until I get the first Pokemon after the starter, but let the Pokemon challenge begin. The first gift Pokemon I can receive is one of the first partner Pokemon from the Pokemon Professor Rowan. I really want to use Chimchar in this run, and so I'll take it. It is most likely the strongest starter Pokemon from any Pokemon game so far and will be the biggest weapon I have. Being part fighting isn't really new, but the power increase from Emerald's Blaziken to Platinum's Infernape is immense. After finally being able to give a nickname to Chimchar, I get the Pokédex and the run can officially begin. At Route 203, the rival is already waiting for a rematch. Unfortunately, I still have only one Pokemon in my team, but it's good enough to beat the whole game on its own, so it will be fine here too. Starly cannot do a lot thanks to Ember. Growl sounds bad for Prinplup, but Ember does enough damage to slowly grind it down. I also like to think there's a chance to burn, but maybe there isn't, and I just made it up. At the end, it still went down. The rival is speechless that I won with just a starter, which is also technically weak against his, but without Water Gun, there are no problems. Especially now, since Chimchar already evolves at level 14 into Monferno. This upgrade is immense. Getting the fighting type and Mark Punch is amazing, and the key to victory against the first gym leader. Rock is the gym leader of Orbo City and specializes into rock type, similar to Brock and Roxanne from previous runs. When thinking about taking the fire type Pokemon first, rock types don't sound too appealing, but in Diamond, Pearl and Platinum it is quite a bit different. First a Geodude, and Mark Punch does about half while Rock Throw doesn't even hit. That is a very good start, I love it. Against Onix I use Taunt. This sounds a bit suspect, but Screech would be devastating to get hit by. Especially since Rock Throw from an Onix is just 6 damage, so it is really low. Onix, you deserve better, that's for sure. After Brock's team is defeated, Cranidos enters the arena, and with my big HP lead, I can easily defeat the Mono Rock type. This is how it looks like when rock types don't have an enormous amount of defense. Rock loses and offers me the first badge, which I gladly accept. Before I can move on to Floaroma Town, there's a multi-battle waiting, teaming up with Dawn against Team Galactic, the bad guys from Pokemon Platinum. But they are weak, very weak. Only the leader is strong enough to do anything. In Floaroma Town are some nice items to get, like the TM for Pluck. If I had chosen Prinplup instead of Chimchar, this would have been great. At the Valley Windworks is Team Galactic, doing some bad stuff as usual. Why are the evil teams so bad? Well, I have to clean up this mess once again. Mars is one of the commanders of Team Galactic, and her team, if I can even call that, is quite weak. Zubat and Puagli. Zubat's Toxic Mist, which sounds great, but I had a Patcher Berry attached anyway. Puagli cannot do a lot against Monferno, and Mach Punch will defeat it in 2 hits, which is 3 turns thanks to Fake Out. Mars is defeated. The Valley Windworks are rescued, and with Team Galactic gone, I can travel north to Eterna City. This is a part I really like. Cheryl teams up with me with Chansey, and every battle is converted to double battles or multi-battles. And if that's not good enough, Cheryl heals my team after every battle. It's the best. But all good things come to an end, and she left me alone at the end of the forest. I was only good enough to walk through the trainers here. Thank you. Now comes the most controversial part of the run right here in Eterna City. I can get the underground backpack from this person, which allows me to travel underground. While here I can get a lot of good items, for example the Fist Plate, boosting fighting type attacks. But also the Skull Fossil. Why is it controversial? Well, I personally do not consider it a gift to me, but it's marked as a gift everywhere I can check. And when I skipped the fossil in Fire Red and Leaf Green's Mount Moon, I got a lot of questions why I skipped it. So I will use it here, bring it back to the Orbo Museum and revive Cranidos. That Pokemon can deal a lot of damage. It's one of the Pokemon with the highest physical attack in the entire game. And back at Eterna City there's one gym to go through, the Grass type gym and the leader Gardenia. To be fair, Monferno could easily solo the battle without any issues, but I want to use Cranidos for a bit and see how far a rock type Pokemon can go. Versus Turtwig and I use Takedown to deal more than half. But one Razor Leaf and Cranidos is already defeated. Well, Monferno it is. Comes in, uses Flame Wheel and Turtwig is down. Next is Sharon and Flame Wheel hits and does a critical hit which defeats it from full HP. Last is Gardenia's Ace Rose Raid. Flame Wheel does way over half, but Stun Spore could pose a problem, could be really bad, especially since I forgot the Cherry Berry, but Monferno didn't really care and pushes through, defeating Rose Raid easily. Gardenia is defeated, but Cranidos wasn't able to show what it can do. Maybe next time. At the top of the Team Galactic Eterna building is a very important item. Upgrade. It will matter in a bit, but before that there's one battle against Jupiter, another commander of Team Galactic. Her team is quite similar to Mars's team, just Scun Tank instead of Poor Ugly. Even though Cranidos didn't see much action up to this point, Monferno is still the better option here, considering Zubat has Giga Drain. Scun Tank itself is really bad against Monferno. Taunt would remove 3 or 4 moves, which is crazy, and the only damaging move the opposing Pokemon has is Night Slash, which is resisted by fighting. So just some Flame Wheels to defeat it, it's not a big deal. Jupiter defeated is actually very important. The bike shop owner gets his Pokemon back and I can get a bike at his store now. But I get interrupted before that by none other than Cynthia, the strongest Pokemon trainer in the entire franchise, even worse than Reddit himself. She has a gift for me, an egg. I wonder what's inside. So let's bike for a while until it hatches, and inside is Togepi. This brings back memories from my run in HeartGold and Soulsilver, especially since Bebe in Hearthome City has another Pokemon for me, and that is Eevee. But in this game there are 2 more forms available, and I chose to return to Eterna Forest and train near the Moss Stone, and after several battles, Eevee evolves into Leafeon. I really like this Pokemon and hope it can be a good asset here as well, even though level 21 means no Razor Leaf for a while. While I was at Hearthome City, why not challenge the gym leader Fantina as well? Her specialty is Ghost-type Pokemon, and unlike Agatha from the Indigo League, this time for real. The battle was crazy because Togepi played a huge role while being severely underleveled as well. First Duskull, and this battle took a very long time. I wanted to use Yawn, and Duskull actually doesn't really have a good move against Togepi. Will-O-Wisp is something, but it doesn't really hinder Togepi at all. Future Sight might be an issue, and I wanted Leafeon to tank the damage while fighting back, but Bullet Seed is one of the 2 grass-type TMs I can get, and the only TM which only Leafeon can use. But the damage is horrible, just terrible. It's easily the worst move it has by far. But at least it's a grass type attack. After burning through 1 super potion and using the move like 1,000 times, Duskull finally went down. Fantina's Ace Miss Magius is here, and Leafeon's job is unfortunately over, so I let it go. Bringing in Togepi again, it has to hit with Yawn, and it worked out so perfectly that it also was able to tank the first hit just to go down in the last possible second. I bring in Cranidos using Scary Face to lower the speed and then start the damage with Pursuit. First one was below half, and the second one was a critical hit. So I beat it without even triggering the Citrus Berry, very nice. Last is Haunter, and there isn't much to do. First Scary Face while sidestepping the Sucker Punch, and then tanking a Shadow Claw easily, while Pursuit removes the most of the HP. The last Super Potion won't help, especially considering I do have Monferno still left in the team with full HP. This battle is over. Fantina lost, and I receive another badge and a TM for Shadow Claw, which might prove useful later on. But before I can travel to Veilstone, there's another rival battle stopping me. He really tries to ambush me while I'm not completely prepared. Well, unfortunately I was. First is the Ravia against my Togepi. Yawn is just great to use, but Double Team is really nasty. Switching into Cranidos looks fine, but I miss so many times it's infuriating. But I try my best and push on, take down as much as possible. Even if it takes a while, I will hit and defeat it in the end. Next is Prinplup, but no need to switch around now. Bringing in Leafeon as my next Pokemon and use Bullet Seed over and over again. The move has a very low damage number and takes a lot of time. I really hope I can replace it very soon. When Ponyta arrives, I thought maybe I can do it, but it turns out I cannot. Not really sure what I was thinking. Anyway, Monferno is here to solve this issue and Ponyta goes down. Last is Roselia, but let's be honest, it's very weak against my fighting fire type. The rival is out of Pokemon and leaves quite fast. I hope the next battle will take a while. Beating the trainer on the way, lets Togepi finally evolve into Togetic. This upgrade is actually huge, but I don't have any moves just yet. Finally, arriving in Veilstone City, it's actually a big turning point and a spot to receive a new teammate, Porygon. Starting this generation, this Pokemon is actually great. But I let it evolve immediately to get the better stats. I think Porygon 2 will be very good moving on. The gym leader in Veilstone City is Maylene, the fighting type specialist. Basically like Bruno, but actually good. Her team has Meditype, Machoke and Lucario, the strongest fighting types in this game. Well, not really, but the team is great anyway. Meditype is used first against my Leafeon, and this was quite sad. I forgot that Quick Attack hits against Fake Out in this game, but that's all I wanted. The Fake Out is gone. The only thing to do now is using Quick Attack until Meditype goes down. But as it turns out, it's Leafeon who goes down first. Bringing in Porygon 2 using Psybeam and knock the fighting psychic type out. Next is Machoke, and this was quite funny. Hitting with Psybeam and immediately get the confusion hitting itself just for me to finish it off. It wasn't necessary, but I like to see it. Last is Melene's ace Lucario, and I need a little bit of strategy here. Porygon 2's moves don't matter thanks to Drain Punch, but after going down I can bring in Togetic. Yawn is the best move it has and most likely will be until the end of the Pokemon Challenge. I can use Monferno now, and while Lucario is asleep, Monferno's Flame Wheel pushes the damage. Waking up and using Force Palm sounds dangerous, but Monferno prevails and defeats Lucario. Mylene is defeated, and it went way better than I expected it to go. Since the next gym leader is very hard to beat, I grabbed a TM4 Thunder from a department store before heading over. Team Galactic stole the Pokédex of Dawn, but the battle is so easy it's not worth mentioning, but the reward was a nice HM for Fly. I forgot to grab the TM for Shockwave right in front of Veilstone City, a very good move for Togetic. And arriving in Pastoria City, I can finally go to the move relearner and give Leafeon the first good move back, Razor Leaf. It is now able to be a real teammate. And I can immediately try it out against a rival in the same city. I cannot enter the gym before beating him, and this battle was a bit more interesting, I think. First is the Ravia against my Togetic. I know the rival loves double team, but Shockwave just ignores it and deals damage anyway. Just 2 hits and it's over for the first route bird. Next is Ponyta, and of course Yawn is the best move here, and then switching out into Cranidos. Takedown deals quite a lot of damage, but the next turn Ponyta woke up, used a Stomp, and Cranidos flinched. That was really unlucky. Another Stomp and Cranidos went down to 1 HP before using Takedown to take out Ponyta, but itself went down too. I bring in Leafeon and the rival thinks Prinplup is the best choice. Razor Leaf is back on the menu and deals a lot less than expected. Another one and the Bubble Beam hits, reduces speed, which was enough for Prinplup to outspeed and remove Leafeon from the battle. That was insane. I have Monferno ready and one Mark Punch defeats the water type, thanks to Leafeon's help. Last is Roselia, but Flame Wheel is good enough, it's not even close. The rival is done and this helps me get ready for the next major battle, the next challenge in this Platinum run. The water type gym leader in Pastoria City is Crasher Wake, and his team is quite interesting and would be nearly unbeatable if my team wasn't able to use electric and grass type attacks. Gyarados is double weak to thunder, and agility was used to maybe outspeed Floatzel, but it was still faster in the end. Not being able to beat it is fine for Porygon 2, because it was just here to set up the range for Leafeon. Razor Leaf looks like an amazing investment, and Quagsire is one of Wake's Pokemon, but it is double weak to Razor Leaf, and this battle is done quite quickly. Just a little bit more and Razor Leaf would KO in one go. Anyway, the battle is done and this marks the big turning point of the run. Team Galactic planned something very naughty in the Great Marsh, the Safari Zone of Sinnoh. I actually never visit the area, since it's not necessary. Anyway, I have to follow the Galactic run until I end up in Celestic Town. Here's the most important item in the whole game available, the choice specs. Boosting special attack by 50% is a way too good to skip. But that's not all. Cyrus, the leader of Team Galactic, is here as well. I hunted down the Galactic Runt, but Cyrus jumped in to save his underling and the battle will be glorious. Well, not really, not now at least. I have to battle him again later on. I let Monferno start against Sneasel and was a bit sad when I used Mark Punch and the Ice and Dark type Pokemon survived. At least the hyper potion is gone. Just using 2 more to defeat it. Next is Golbat and I switch into Cranidos. Monferno could be useful later on, but Cranidos, the rock type Pokemon, went down before it was able to use any move. I use Porygon 2 next and Psybeam critical hit with Choice Specs did the job. Last is Murkrow and I switch out, since Choice Specs doesn't allow me to switch attacks. Leafeon wasn't able to do a lot and just went down, allowing me to use Togetic for Shockwave now, but that did so little damage that I'm not sure what the plan was. My last hope is Porygon 2 again and Thunder just hits for an easy victory. Cyrus is defeated, and I was actually very happy about it, since this means I get Surf next and can travel across the land, searching far and wide. And while combing through the area, Cranidos reached level 30 and evolves into Rampardos, which has the highest attack from all Pokemon, which are not legendary. Just at the Willy Wentworks is the TM for Thunderbolt, one of the strongest moves in the game, but I will stick with Thunder for a bit. Inside the Fuego Ironworks is a TM for Flamethrower, and I am not sure if I will use it, but I could with Monferno. Well, not Monferno specifically, it evolves into Infernape, the single strongest Pokemon in the Sinnoh region, and it's not even close. And right back to Canalave City, the city which will change the whole dynamic of this Pokemon challenge. But before I can grab all the things I need, I have to battle against the rival again. His team got really strong, but mine as well. First is the Raptor against Porygon 2. Double team is really bad, but I hit with Thunder and be done with it. And yes, I needed a lot of tries to get the hit in. Next is Heracross and I may need Porygon 2 for later, switching into Rampardos. But Brick Break just defeats it in one hit. That is harsh. Bringing in Togetic now and wanted to use Fly for double super effective damage, but Brick Break could have easily defeated Togetic in one go. That is insane. Heracross is crazy strong. Fly didn't even KO and that's it for Togetic. It just goes down, but I have Monferno here to save the day, using Flame Wheel to defeat the bug fighting type. The rival's Ace Empoleon can be an issue, but I switch into Leafeon and just use the super effective Razor Leaf. Oh, it's not super effective anymore, thanks to Steel. That is not good at all. But I like how Leafeon would be able to win here if it did just a little bit more damage. Did I have a Miracle Seed? Maybe I should use it, but it's too late now. My Grass Eeveelution goes down and I bring in Infernape to remove the last points with Mach Punch. Rapidash is Mono Fire and slower for some reason, and a close combat easily beats it. That move is really good. Last is Roserade, but Infernape is still a fire type with a fire type attack, so no big deal. The rival is defeated once again, which is very important, because I can now explore the Iron Island, one of the places in Sinnoh which will help bring my team to the next level with more than just one thing. Are the Iron Islands even in Sinnoh? I need to cross there by ship, so not very clear to me. But here's Riley, who joins me similar to Cheryl earlier. I really like the multi-battle partner, it is something different for once. All good things come to an end. After beating up all the trainer in the area, Riley wants to move on alone and gives me an egg. That is very nice of him, and this egg contains the new partner of the team. And right at the exit is one item which lifts one Pokemon in my team from okay to superstar, the shiny stone. Before using it, I want to see what's inside the Pokemon egg, and it is Riolu. That Pokemon itself is not very strong, but when it evolves, it will be a Pokemon KO machine. Before training up, I want to let Togetic evolve into its final form, Togekiss. This is the strongest normal bird in the entire game. Maybe besides the Raptor, actually, I'm not sure. And after a long grind, biking around, leveling up and realizing it has to be the daytime, Riolu evolves into Lucario. I know there are a lot of fans out there, so I have to make it work in this run by any means necessary. I went back to Route 213 and grabbed the heart scales lying around, one on the west side and the other on the east coast. With those, I can talk to the move reminder in Pastoria City and teach Togekiss Aura Sphere, the best special fighting type move in the game. That's all I can do, and back to the gym battles. In Canalave City is the next gym leader Byron, the steel type specialist. His team is quite interesting, but my team has Lucario, so it's not a big deal. First is Magneton and I wanted to see what Lucario can do, but realized I forgot to level it up first. Whoopsie. Infernape comes in and one close combat knocks Magneton out as expected. Against Steelix however, I switch into Togekiss because I had an idea it would use Earthquake, and when Aura Sphere hits, I was blown away by the damage. Crazy! But what's this? Ice Fang freeze, very annoying. I stay in of course, and after a while Togekiss wakes up, defrosts, and hits big again. Another hit and it's over for the Steel Snake. Last is Bastiodon. It's the ace of Byron and has an insane defense. Sandstorm helps against special attacks, boosting special defense of rock type Pokemon. When my flying chicken was downed, I used my fire Pokemon and used the fighting type move, which is double super effective. And Bastiodon is gone. Byron is defeated and I receive another badge, being able to fight against Team Galactic even more. They did something very bad, destroying the lakes for some reason. Maybe they tried to be Team Magma from Pokemon Emerald. Not sure, but I want to investigate it. At Lake Vela is Team Galactic Commander Saturn. The battle itself was way easier than I first expected. I do have Porygon too, and it has Psybeam with choice specs attached. Golbat can be quite annoying, but Toxicroak was really funny. It wants to use the fighting type attack, but it is revenge, which lets Toxicroak go last, meaning it gets blown to pieces by a Psybeam before any move can happen. That felt amazing, not gonna lie. Bronzor, the last poke, but for some reason they all have Levitate instead of Heatproof, so Infernape can just burn it down. The battle was quite easy, but I'm still not sure why they destroyed the lake in the first place. At Lake Verity, I came just in time to see Dawn being defeated by Commander Mars. But let's be honest, Dawn is not a Pokemon trainer in the sense of battling, but more the professor's apprentice. Mars's team is essentially the same as Saturn's, just with Poragli instead of Toxicroak. Didn't matter in the slightest, just had Togekiss push through the team easily until Poragli arrived, and then went down quite fast. But as usual, Infernape is here to save the day, beating the big cat up. Mars is defeated and let us know that there's another lake, but to arrive there I have to venture through Mount Coronet. But I need a lot of HMs to move on, and since I have 6 Pokemon in my team, I have to use HMs on them for now. Rampardos can learn the hard-working ones, so it might be fine. Right after Mount Coronet is the Snow Point City and the gym where Ken dies. The Ice-type specialist is the final opponent for the next badge. Being an Ice-type specialist has a lot of disadvantages, and one of them is called Infernape. But I go with Lucario first against Sneasel. Getting hit by Aerial Ace sounds bad, but Part Steel helps a bit here, and just a single fighting type attack will defeat it in one go, thanks to the double super effective weakness. Piloswine can get a lot more dangerous, but hitting it again sounds great. But Earthquake comes back to beat Lucario as a revenge for Sneasel. I don't think there's much value in trying different strategies here, and Infernape is here to remove it with Flame Wheel easily. That leads to Candice's ace, Frostlass. And this could actually be hard to beat, since Double Team could help for some free turns. And of course Double Team might be an issue, what else could it be? Especially since Psychic nearly defeats my Fire type in one go. It was so important to hit twice in a row. Last is Abomasnow, but it's double weak to fire, and the HP range is perfect to get a Blaze boost as well, beating Abomasnow 3 or 4 times over. Candice is defeated, and I receive another badge which allows me to use Rock Climb outside of combat, very important to reach Lake Acuity. And arrives just in time to see the rival getting destroyed by a Team Galactic commander. That is very sad. He has to work on his team now, and I can move on to the Team Galactic HQ. But before leaving this place, I went ahead and grabbed the TM13 Ice Beam. Maybe this can come in handy for some major battles up ahead. Finally arriving in Veilstone City, I can check out the Galactic headquarters. And here's the most important item to get. The item to change my team forever. The Dubious Disc. Giving it to Porygon 2 to hold, it can evolve into its final form, Porygon Z. This Pokemon is so strong, it can handle most battles on its own, but let's see how it works out for me. At the top of the Galactic headquarters is Cyrus, the leader of Team Galactic. His team is quite good, but my team has some very useful Pokemon for this battle. I want to start with Lucario. Sneasel is a very strong Pokemon and one of the big parts of Cyrus's team, but it's double weak to fighting type moves and is gone after using Screech. Honchcrow isn't as fast as I thought it would be, and Force Palm did some damage but no paralyze. Drill Peck is only neutral, but Screech helped a lot to boost the damage, and Lucario is down, defeated, in one hit from full HP. I bring in rampardos using Scary Face. Lowering speed might be useful even when Lucario was faster, but all I could manage was one rock smash in hopes to reduce the defense. But I had a brilliant idea. Just using Togekiss, even though Infernape would easily end this battle on the spot, especially considering who the last Pokemon is. But anyway, I use Ancient Power and it was the perfect range to have Citrus Berry activate and skip the full restore on Honchkrow. It worked out fine in the end. Last Crobat, and this is a real issue. I assume Togekiss goes down in one go and the move didn't matter, but actually it did survive and hit big. Infernape is now here, a little bit too late, and Supersonic removed one turn of Infernape while doing some amount of damage. I don't like confusion. Air Cutter is super effective, but at least Infernape was able to hit once before going down. Porygon Z is here to end it, but it has to tank at least one hit before striking back. Psybeam with choice specs and the amount of Crobat's HP is an easy KO. Cyrus is defeated once more, and there's only one final battle against him left. I actually look forward to it, but for now I have to rescue the Lake Trio first after beating up one of the commanders of Team Galactic. His team was quite weak compared to Cyrus, but it makes sense. The leader waits on the top of Mount Coroner, so let's hop over there and see what the fuss is about. It seems like a nice party here, but the multi-battle with the rival against both commander of Team Galactic was quite easy to do. It just took a while because Bronzor started the battle with Reflect and Light Screen, halving all the incoming damage. But at the end it didn't really matter and the teams were just beaten down. This was enough time for Cyrus to prepare, and he summoned the two gods of time and space, Dialga and Palkia. There's just one more Pokemon he forgot to include, and that was a Giratina, grabbing Cyrus and pushing him into the distortion world. I run after him, and at the end, the final battle against Team Galactic will take place in the distortion world in front of Cynthia, the strongest trainer to ever exist. Why doesn't she battle against him instead? I'm not sure how this makes any sense, but whatever. Cyrus starts with Houndoom and I went for Infernape. Close Combat is just way too good and super effective, beating the Fire Dog without me seeing any moves. Against Gyarados I don't stand a chance and switch into Leafeon, but it cannot do anything here either, besides one growl for a setup. Ice Fang also hurts really bad, but it's okay. Bringing in Porygon Z next and using Thunder to hit and defeat the flying water type thanks to being double super effective. Cyrus Honchkrow can be really bad, but I realize I cannot really switch out and there's no reason for it either. Thunder just hits and defeats the bird in one go. That worked out perfectly. Weavile is a new ace and I switch into Lucario. It resists every move Weavile can do, and Force Palm is double super effective anyway, beating Cyrus's ace. Last Pokemon to beat is Crobat and there's no reason to switch around, letting Lucario go. I bring in Rampardos next because I wanted to hit with Scary Face, but what I didn't realize is that Rampardos is still slower even after Scary Face, which is crazy. But Confuse Ray is an issue. Hitting itself deals more damage than Crobat can do with any of its moves, but one Zen Headbutt came out before Rampardos went down too. Porygon Z back in and using Psybeam with choice specs to beat Crobat, the final Pokemon of Cyrus. This battle was a lot of fun, but we are still in the distortion world. While Team Galactic is in shambles, Giratina comes up and wants to battle against my team. It was very easy since the run button still worked, and similar to Ash's dad, I was gone. That concludes the distortion world part and I can finally go to Sunyshore City, challenging the last gym leader of Sinnoh. But before facing him, I will grab these strong items. At the end of Wayward Cave is a TM26 which contains Earthquake. And I made a visit at the Ruin Maniac Cave and grabbed a TM for Dig. I guess that's it. The last gym leader of Sinnoh is Volknar, the electric type specialist. I wasn't sure how to battle him, but I was quite confident that I will win, considering my team consists of basically the strongest Pokemon one can have, and Leafeon is also in the team for emotional support. First a Jolteon against Rampardos, and this was very sad. I had a Cherry Berry against Thunder Wave of course, but Dig did great damage but didn't KO. That was really bad. Had to do another one and Jolteon just uses Iron Tail, which did so much damage I thought Rampardos were just going down in one hit, but it stabilized and Jolteon loses instead. Next is Raichu, and what happened here was so crazy I love it. Focus Blast was used on that low HP, misses, and Rampardos was able to defeat the electric mouse from Kanto easily. That was wild. Volkner's Ace Electivire came out and finished Rampardos off, bringing in leafeon next and uses Rock Smash for maybe a defense drop, but I realized Growl was the move I should have used instead. That way my eeveelution would be able to use one more move and have the attack drop, but it's too late now. My first partner Pokemon Infernape comes in and uses Earthquake, which did good damage, but the Thunder Punch in return was crazy. I have a Cherry Berry just in case, but wow. Another ground type attack and it's down. Last Pokemon is Luxray, and truth be told, this one made a lot of problems. It went to about half before defeating my fire type. I used Togekiss next and this was a big mistake. Aura Sphere is a great move, but Luxray survives, bringing it into healing range while my Pokemon goes down in one go. I had the idea to use Lucario now and press on Swords Dance. I thought Bone Rush deals good damage now, but it was so low. There's no way the electric type dog goes down, but Lucario was like, hold my beer, and got 5 hits to defeat it just barely. That was amazing. Volkner is defeated and I have all 8 badges in my pocket. Only one thing left to do, the Elite Four. After a long travel through the victory road, I can enter the Elite Four, the final battle gauntlet. But there's also one more final battle against a rival. It was a nice journey, but only one of us can enter, and this is a deciding battle. The rival starts with a Staraptor against my Togekiss. I know it can survive a close combat, but the decrease in special defense is exactly what I wanted to finish it off with ancient power. Nothing can beat my Togekiss. Against Heracross, there's unfortunately nothing Togekiss can do but go down. It was way too strong for my little bird. I bring in Infernape next to hit with Flame Wheel, but it's not enough. While Heracross deals an insane amount of damage, that Pokemon hits way too hard. But another hit and it is defeated. The rival starter Pokemon Empoleon is here, but I am not scared and just push forward with close combat, and it was thankfully enough to knock it out. Snorlax is considered as one of the strongest Pokemon, but I destroyed an Empoleon, so Snorlax might go down as well, and it did. Against Rapidash I switch out into Rampardos. I think Infernape did enough to break down his team, and maybe my rock-type Pokemon can do something too. But it's hard, Bounce immediately paralyzed, making Scary Face useless. But when Zen Headbutt hits, I was really astonished how much damage it is. I really forget that Rampardos has the highest attack in the game. After a second hit, Rapidash is defeated. Last is Rose Raid, but Rampardos cannot do anything here and goes down. I think Infernape might be good enough again, using Flame Wheel with ability boost, and the grass type is burned away. The rival is defeated. The last hurdle before the Elite Four is overcome, and that means it is no showtime. I chose level 50. This would make my team about average of the first Elite Four member, but this will also give me a shot against the champion later on. But it's Cynthia, so I will lose pretty badly of course. With that, let the final battle gauntlet of Pokemon Platinum begin. First Elite Four member is Aaron, the bug type trainer. I had an amazing strategy here. Switching at the right moments, have the perfect answers to every move Aaron could do. Only one Pokemon was a bit tricky, but Togekiss goes first against Yanmega. Double team can be bad, but Ancient Power hits anyway and gives a boost. That is huge. In fact, that is so game changing, I don't even need any other Pokemon at this point. Togekiss slices through the team like a hot butter through the knife. Or something like that. Drapion will survive a hit, but for some reason I use Aura Sphere instead of Air Slash, which doesn't make any sense. By the way, Air Slash is from a move relearner and it is amazing on Togekiss. Last Pokemon to speak of would be Scizor, but I get a critical hit and just end that Pokemon on the spot. That means Aaron, the first Elite Four member, is defeated, and it was way easier than I expected it to go. Now comes the ground type specialist of the Elite Four, Bertha. I actually really like her team, but I wanted to win, so I have to figure out a way to do that. First is Whiscash against Leafeon, and one Razor Leaf hits and defeats the first opponent, thanks to the double weakness. Against Gliscor I wanted to use Lucario, or do I? Lucario has literally no move against it and just goes down against Earthquake. That was a bad move on my end. I bring in Porygon Z now. It has Ice Beam, Choice Specs and some good special attack. After surviving one Earthquake, it's over for Gliscor, the flying ground type. Next is Hippowdon and it has Sandstream, which creates a sandstorm. Yeah, I know, that's crazy, but one Ice Beam will knock it out. Golem comes in and Sandstorm boosts special defense of rock-type Pokemon, which allows it to survive an Ice Beam and destroy Porygon in return. But that's good enough. Bringing in Togekiss. Aura Sphere is super effective and is special, which is enough to remove the last HP of Golem. Bertha's ace Rhyperior is the last Pokemon to beat, and Aura Sphere is not good enough. But Rock Wrecker will destroy Togekiss multiple times over easily. Leafeon back in and Razor Leaf it is. Unfortunately, Leaf Blade is so late, it would be way better. It's as late as level 71. That's too high for this run. Maybe Cynthia may need it. I hope not. Bertha is defeated, and that means the half of the Elite Four is already done. Next up is Flint, the fire type trainer, and thanks to the changes to Pokemon Platinum, he has more than just 2 fire types. This battle doesn't sound too bad, but let's find out. Against his first Pokemon, Houndoom, I wasn't too sure what to do until I realized I can just push close combat on Infernape and the Fire Dog is gone. The mirror match is something I don't want to do and switch out into Togekiss to negate Earthquake, but Flint's Infernape is fast and hits like a truck with Flare Blitz while receiving damage itself. Air Slash connects is super effective and Infernape is defeated. I always forget how fast Magmortar is, but I remembered how much damage it can dish out. Bring in Rampardos next and use Dig by losing half of its HP before it goes underground was a bit of a concern. When it hits, those concerns were gone, just as Magmortar. Rapidash was quite funny, it brings Rampardos down to the last HPs. And while being underground, it bounces up in the air. I use Zen Headbutt since I figured it's either over or I can at least deal some damage, and while Bounce missed, Zen Headbutt did too. But this time it's reversed. Rapidash goes into the air first, while Rampardos goes underground. And when they came back together, Rampardos hits, crits and defeats Rapidash. That was quite funny. Last is Flareon, and Quick Attack removes Rampardos from the battle. I bring in my starter Pokemon Infernape in and use Earthquake, nearly beating the Fire Eeveelution, while Giga Impact did a huge number, but it's recharging first, while Infernape beats it in the end. Flint is defeated and only one more Elite Four member left, and it's unfortunately the strongest one by far. And that is Lucian. Being the Psychic type trainer of the Elite Four makes him a very special trainer, and looking at my team, it might be rough, but let's see. I actually wanted to high roll it with Togekiss and Zero Wind against Mr. Mime, but the boosts never came, which is fine I guess. 2 hits were enough to beat the Mono-Psychic type Pokemon. Delayed is Lucian's ace, and this turn was so mean. First Stone Edge missed, and then Air Slash hits critical to defeat it. I don't think Air Slash would have KO'd otherwise. Against Alakazam is the end of course, but not before I can get at least one hit in. I never expected to survive one move, so Air Slash was the incorrect choice by far. Silver Wind would have boosted my stats, but anyway I bring in Leafeon next and hope Razor Leaf is enough to KO, since I expected it to survive at least one hit. But Alakazam did too. I figured Full Restores next and hit with Razor Leaf again, before using Quick Attack for some more points of damage. When I saw Focus Blast, I wanted to try using Porygon Z now, and of course Focus Blast missed, while Signal Beam hits and defeats Alakazam finally. The Psychic Eeveelution Espeon cannot defeat Porygon in one hit, and Signal Beam did way over half, but that's not good enough, and Porygon Z is down. Using Lucario next, the part Steel type helps to survive one hit, and Shadow Claw connects to defeat Espeon, and that leaves only one Pokemon. Bronzong can tank nearly anything, but close combat is so much raw damage, it does a good chunk, a bit over half. Lucario did enough and gets some rest now, while Infernape comes in to use Flame Wheel, being super effective and removing the last HP of the last Pokemon of the last Elite Four member. Lucian is defeated, and that leaves only one more battle, and that battle is unfortunately as hard as the whole run up to this point combined. And it is the champion of Sinnoh, Cynthia. She gave me an egg to make my team stronger, and now I am here at the final battle of the run, and even though she might not believe it, Togekiss will be the most important member of this battle, and it's not even close. But let the final battle for the title of champion begin. First is Spiritomb, and I went with Rampardos. This sounds like a weird matchup, but Rampardos is faster for some reason, and with Rock Slide, which was a nice TM, I can 2-hit Spiritomb even if just barely. When Lucario comes out, I have no choice but to stay in and lose. Even with full HP, it's not even close. Lucario is just a menace. I bring in Infernape next and use Stealth Rocks, I may need it to get some Pokemon into ranges later on, but for this scenario I had a citrus berry attached cause going low against Lucario is a death sentence thanks to extreme speed. Milotic is the best answer against Infernape, so I switch out into Leafeon, but let's be honest, I cannot do anything here. Using Quick Attack for some damage and Ice Beam finishes Leafeon off, giving me some space to lose my Lucario now. First Swords Dance and then close combat. Milotic tries to use Mirror Coat for some reason, and using 2 close combats dangerous because of Lucario's low special defense. I lost so many times against Cynthia's ace Garchomp, but I found a strategy that works. I negate Earthquake with Togekiss, using Toxic and Protect to get the damage going, and then switch out into Lucario again since it can survive a hit, and then switch back to Togekiss to remove Earthquake or hope for a miss. This is a very dangerous game, but in the end it just barely works out, with Togekiss going down and Garchomp losing to Poison. I bring in Porygon Z next, and even if I'm not sure Togekiss would be next, but it's fine. Discharge has a high paralysis rate, which is important for my next Pokemon, but a critical hit solved this issue way beforehand, and I have only one more Pokemon to defeat. Roserade. Thanks to choice specs I have to use Discharge, and this time it did paralyze, which is important. Switching out into Lucario, letting me use Ice Beam next time Porygon comes back, but Lucario gets a free turn, and use Swords Dance to pump up those numbers, and then use Return to hit Roserade very hard, in fact too hard, and Roserade is defeated. Cynthia is out of Pokemon, and that means my team of only gifted Pokemon becomes champion and beat the Pokemon Challenge in Platinum. Thank you for watching, please like, comment and subscribe. I see you in the next one.